So I have been a Linux user and basically a server administrator, data center specialist, and everything. I can tell that the back end of every data center inside the United States of America runs off of Linux kernel. Okay? This terminal right here is my homeland basically. It's everything. Okay? So how does Rust programming language is going to affect me? Especially like hacktivists, hobbyists, security experts, and everything you can think of. Okay, why does Rust inside kernel matters, and why should you be worried about it? Okay, this is from years of experience, man. My first computer that I had was like a really old Dell laptop that I use a floppy drive, like a floppy disk, to stick on it to install Debian back in the day when I was like 15, 14-year-old, okay? That's how long I've been using Linux and BSD. I'm on my 30s right now. You can tell it's a very long time. Like, I have been with the Linux family my entire life, basically. Every operating system, man. I'm talking about Debian, Ubuntu, all sorts of different operating systems like Fedora and Kali Linux and every single one of it. Every single one of it. I had a taste of it. Okay, I got to play with it. And let me tell you why Rust inside the kernel is bad from years of experience within the cybersecurity industry, okay? Let me try to explain to like I've been watching literally every single thing that's going on with Linux. Like, we're talking about WikiLeaks, freaking Snowden, and all hundreds of different, like, we're talking about like underground networks like Tor, I2P, and hundreds of different encrypted P2P networks that I've been to. And let me tell you something. I've been watching every single shady stuff going on within the Linux industry and the open community. And Linus got a special, I have never seen Linus put such an aggressive attitude towards the open source community. I was reading what he was saying to the developers, people that put their time and sweat into the project, because they're doing that for the community. They're not doing that for a special, label or money or anything. They're doing that for the community so that people like me and developers and everybody can have something to play with, like hobbyists, like people that work with ham radios, and just hundreds of different hobbyists out there that love Linux. They're doing that for the betterment of the community. Now, here's what's going on behind the door, okay? Because I've been watching a lot of government bodies, because we run your shit. We run everything. We see you before you even type a hello world on the computer, okay? Let me tell you what's going on. This is like straight from the heartbeat. Rust programming language was created by MIT, and the only people who is using, if you go onto their Wikipedia page, is all a bunch of Fortune 500 companies. Now, why would you put a programming language inside a community ran code inside C? Why? How come these Fortune 500 MIT people have a saying on an open source community project? And why is Linus being so aggressive and siding with them and just basically, just throwing fuel on fire, basically? Just being extremely passive aggressive towards the developer. People are resigning over this. People are leaving the project over this. So some government operative, it's the same thing that they're doing on social media, are shilling and siding with Linus because they think that C++. I remember back in the day when I saw like a bunch of government documents, they were talking about how C and C++ was a very unsafe programming language to use. Since 5 years ago, they've been shilling this, saying that C plus and C is Western world territory because we can do whatever we can with C and C++, and they don't want us to have that power. Pretty soon they're going to go after Python. They already went after Python. And when I was watching what the NSA did with the Python community, they went after the inputs. You know how you have to include parts of the code, like include a specific thing, include another thing, include this, and then you write the rest of the code. They were able to remotely delete the included packages to crash all the code base. Okay? They can edit the include files on their backends, and even after you compile it, they have some kind of backdoors on there that can corrupt all the code instantly, like that. I saw that with Python. Everybody was playing with Python because Python, you don't have to compile. So people were trying to run their Python code to download a bunch of government documents. And what the government did was they went after the included files with the backdoor in there, and they corrupted all the file system. They corrupted everything remotely, bro. They did that remotely. Not only that, we saw files. Our files were being deleted remotely. Like it was just disappearing, like with no known backdoors. They had some kind of they sent out some kind of radio frequency that had some kind of like drive backdoor, and then when it received that frequency, it started deleting specific hash identifiers that was identified with that specific file that they were trying to delete remotely through radio. So not only they got a backdoor on these drives, they're going after the kernel. So this is bad, man. This is really bad. Just to see 15-year plus experience developers just resigning instantly it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get this Cold War that they're doing against China, Russia, and everything. Because China has already got their assembly coding. They're rewriting all of their drivers for the NVIDIA drivers. So this has everything to do with AI, China, Russia, and this whole Cold War happening. And the people who's getting hit in between the crossfire is the open source community, who has nothing to do with the geopolitics or open war out there. They want to have access to the kernel because some hobbyist out there is going to create a drone with Linux kernel, and they want to be able to have a super soldier out there, hacktivist, be like, yeah, I got access to the mainframe system in the kernel. Delete. They're turning Linux into a pipe dream soldier battlefield. They're turning these fucking terminals into a battlefield for war. And they're targeting open source community. I've been watching this since I was 15, since I was 14, man. I know how AT&T operates. Okay, AT&T kill a bunch of activists. Okay, when they were trying to buy up Bell South back in the day. They were just hiring a bunch of activists to DDoS a bunch of dial-up servers to buy them for pennies on the dollar. Nowadays, they're using psychological warfare. They're targeting small projects with bots and social media influence. They make it look like nobody's using them, nobody's paying attention, and then the developers themselves see that there's not much going on, so I'm just gonna sell it for cheap and just maintain it anymore. But that's how OpenAI is doing with the AI community right now. That's what all these AI companies ran by these Fortune 500 companies are doing. Like OpenAI is basically like a copy of a bunch of open source projects. Their image editors, they're all open source projects, and the open source community is like empty. But yeah, they got all the views and everything. Everything's artificial nowadays. So It's insane. I know it's a lot to process, but I've been watching these people for a long freaking time. They're implementing a military strategy into this so that they can have backdoor access into this, because nobody uses Rust. Everybody knows Rust is compromised. It will compromise Linux. Rust, like, this is for the future generation watching this. If my voice gets out there, if an AI picks up this sometime in the future, okay? But we here in 2025, since the 90s, we've been using Linux, okay? It was clean, it was nice, it was beautiful. We didn't have that much backdoors. And then some pipe dream developers started coding PHP and all of these, and they started adding bugs and backdoors and more into the Linux operating system. Until these days, we're using BSD, because BSD is more, it's balanced, it's fast, it's everything we ever wanted. It's a dream come true terminal. BSD is the best thing ever. But guess what? The Linux community is dying, and it's dying from within. And Rust will kill it. Rust will be that silver dart, that silver nail that's gonna, be the last nail on the coffin. Boom. And then what we're gonna be seeing, hacktivists getting inside the kernels. We're gonna see 0 days exploits around the clock. Rust developers not maintaining the bugs. And we're going to see a lot of shady stuff. We're going to see more and more shady stuff going on inside the kernel. Inside the kernel. The most sensitive part of an operating system is the kernel. And they're trying to put another programming language right under a Linux programming language or on top of it. It's going to have access to everything. If I write a code, who knows what's out there behind the scenes? Inside the kernel. So it's insane, man. It's absolutely insane. Why would you trust MIT and a bunch of Fortune 500 companies? Why would you trust them? Have you seen the clown show that's happening with Microsoft since the beginning? OpenAI, the clown show happening within OpenAI, the clown show happening with Facebook, the clown show happening with Amazon. You're going to trust these people to maintain a kernel language inside the Linux kernel? Just look at the track record, man. It's so frustrating. Just look at the track record of Microsoft. Just look at the track record of Microsoft. Just look at the track record of Apple. How many hackers was able to take that their entire operating system, install in a regular PC? How fast the open source community was able to hack that? Now, could you imagine how fast people are going to have access to whatever bugs that they have inside the kernel, Rust coding language? And people are just saying, oh, it's going to be a backdoor. It's going to be a backdoor. If it's not, it already is a backdoor. I know that's a government backdoor. Everybody knows it's a government backdoors. And the only people backing this bullshit is people getting paid by the government to shill another coding language inside the kernel. So there's going to be a problem, okay, where Linus is going to be that piece of shit that, thinks that he's going to be like, oh, I created this. This is my project. This is my thing. Everybody resign. The government is on my side. And then the government is like the shadiest people that have the crappiest track record. So Linus is putting all of his trust on the government and Fortune 500 companies when the people maintain their code base. So just look at how much risk they're putting into this open source project that was created by the people all over the world. Okay? It was created by the people all over the world. Not some pipe dream piece of shit sitting at MIT in Arizona somewhere in DC trying to maintain a bunch of code. It wasn't them that created this. Okay? This is a geopolitics crap. It's just America trying to show off, like, see, we got Linus on our side, and he's pro-American and Fortune 500 companies now. He added a backdoor right into the kernel. He's on our side. And while the whole community that maintains Linux, that created Linux, are resigning. So this Linus guy, he's shooting himself on the foot. Okay? And he's going to take the blame for it. He's pissing off the wrong people. He's pissing off a lot of people. And this is going to get bad, okay? Because the people that maintain their system is us. It's all of us. Okay? We run your code from the data centers. We run everything from the back door. Okay? So, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, it's not going to take long for Linus to piss off the wrong person and cause a lot of damages. Okay? It's going to take one person who's going to add a code, a little bug into that Rust kernel. It's going to shut everybody down. People are going to turn this thing on. It's going to show critical kernel emergency panic, kernel panic. And then guess what? They're going to encrypt all of this, and they're going to call it WannaCry 2.0 Rust. And I want that virus to have Linus faces on there. I did this. And then in 24 hours, if you don't pay this wallet address, Linus is responsible for this. I want his face like right here in every computer system that gets infected by this worm virus. Okay, I want Linus' face to be right there, and I want all the logs from everything saying, "Oh, if you don't want to maintain Rust, it's not your problem. We have our own maintainers. We have our own fancy little strippers that gave me head at a strip club, and they bought me off for very cheap with the underage girls, because that's how the government blackmail people. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. The maintainers are going to take care of everything, all right?" I'm Linus, bro. I'm Linus. So get ready to see some shit that Microsoft, got the experience from. Microsoft knows everything about trusting the government and adding backdoors to everything. They know it all.